Good afternoon and welcome again to another segment of Tell My 2013 Story. Stories about the good and positive things that are happening in and around our city of Detroit. And this afternoon we're very privileged to have a guest, a very personal friend of mine, Mr. James Armstrong. Good to see you, James. Yes, sir. Topic for today is we're going to be having an open discussion about the culture of our community. And one of the things that stood out was our music. I remember my days of standing on the corner and doo-wopping, as they talk about it, but singing with 4 or 5 other guys and learn how to create harmony and music within our community. And I remember those days as days that we aspired to be like the Temptations, the Four Tops, and some of the other groups that were out at that time. And what we're kind of bringing out today and talking about is how we missed that era where there were opportunities in our community for young people to get involved in a creative way. I remember we could run around the neighborhood and in 30 minutes we could put together a band, a drummer, a guitar player, a horn player. Today we do not have young people that are indulging in those type of activities, and I think this is a part of a loss for us in our community. So again, today we are privileged to have Mr. Armstrong here, and we just wanted him to share some of his experiences as he developed in our community and in the community of the singing and the development of those who he touched and who touched him in our community in regards to music. So James, I know we met back in the 70s, and you were part of one of the groups, First Prize, but your history went back further than First Prize. So what were your beginnings? How did you get started in your singing career?
Well, like mostly everybody in R&B, I got started in church. So I started 4 or 5 years old, singing in church, you know, just doing what my mother told me to do. You're going to sing in the choir. So it's like you grow up with that. That was part of our culture. As I got older, became older, and in high school I started a group, and we started singing there. And, actually, we started out pantomiming, as they say now, lip syncing, and that's what led us into actually singing. And we started singing at different events and things in the neighborhood. And some of the guys, you mentioned about our culture, some of the guys in the neighborhood had groups. They were older than we are. Some of these guys you know, because they ended up being the Spinners, the Temptations, just a variety of people who they were in the neighborhood, and we could see them, and we could see them as they grew, as their popularity grew. When their records came out, we supported them because they were from the neighborhood. Right. You know.
And that's a very good point, that these individuals were among us. They were part of our community, and we supported them and was very inspired to see them rise to the heights that they were able to attain. And we know that also it helped us in our socialization, because when you got with 3 or 4 other guys, you had to get along, didn't you?
That's right. That's right. You had to make it work, because you didn't want to be with somebody that you couldn't get along with socially. Even though there's a lot of people out there who I knew were great singers, but they couldn't get along in a group. You know, so that was a major part there.
And I always saw that usually we could start out from the community, like you're saying, either in our neighborhood, and develop our group, and we were tight. It wasn't until we got into the next level of success that problems creeped in, but still it provided us an open door of opportunity. Like James just mentioned, a lot of the groups who we were along with at that time, the Dramatics, Enchantment, the Floaters. I mean, it was individuals that we were all at the same particular time aspiring to create and reach higher levels. Now, one of the things I also remember about the groups was the dress. You know, we always dressed to be sharp in our
We
appearance.
dress for success.
We dress for success. That's right. I remember back in the day when guys pressed their blue jeans. So we were not seen in the community, not in a proper appearance.
That's right.
I guess that's why I was taken back when I started seeing young people doing the sagging.
Sagging,
Yeah, because that was.
It's sad that it's like we've taken one step forward and two steps back. But yeah, you're 100% right. We used to dress to impress because we wanted to give that air as an entertainer, you know, as a singer, because these are the same people you see in the neighborhoods are the same people who would come to your show. So we didn't want to, you know, be looking all tacky, oh, well, okay, you know. But, you know, even though we weren't making a lot of money, you know,
Really,
we still
no
wanted, yeah, exactly, in a lot of cases, no money. We still wanted to look the part.
That's right.
And be the part.
That's right.
You know?
I mean, the shoes shine. It was from head to toe that we presented ourselves in the best possible image that we could.
Yeah.
And that's the way we felt. That's the way we talked. That's the way we reacted. And you know, this is going to be a series of segments. We're going to really explore that environment of our culture, which is connected to our music, because it took us when we were, according to the world standards, at a low, at our level. We didn't have a lot of money, we didn't have a lot of resources, but we had each other, and we pulled together and took the best that we had and presented that. And then we want to talk about too, as we progressed into success, not being prepared for success in the terms of how to handle the money, how to handle the fame. And we've seen a number of the individuals that we knew reach certain heights and then have certain tragedies.
Yeah.
But in all, if you can just share, tell me some of the positive things that you really feel that music and your involvement in music has enriched your life.
Well, the main thing is, you know, it started in the church, and you had mentioned this earlier. It started in the church, and it's still in the church as far as the creativity and the talent. You know, I was touched early on by a lot of artists that I would, as I said, see in the neighborhood, and because we would see that and that image, that positive image, because it wasn't just the dress. It was the attitude, it was the behavior. You didn't see a lot of bad behavior from these individuals, you know, so that's what we would try to idolize, you know, and be like that. I want to be like him, I want to be an entertainer. And the thing about it, first of all, we loved what we were doing, okay? We were doing it before we even thought about trying to make money at it. So that made all the difference in the world. Because if you're doing something just to make money at it, I don't think it's going to work for you too long. You know, so you have to have the love for it, first of all.
Excuse me, and I think I like that part. I mean, we love doing what we did. We made a lot of sacrifices, you know.
Yeah.
I know they always say practice makes perfect, and I remember hours and hours of practicing, and that was part of the commitment. So there was a lot of good things and what we could call best practices that came out of our involvement in our music, in our community. One, you had to get along. So there was a socialization element that was involved there. Two, everybody had to bring a skill level to the table. I mean, today we have a variety of artists who I would question their talent and their ability in this
more area. Electronic.
More electronic, because back in the day you had to know how to sing. You had to bring it.
Exactly.
Because if you couldn't bring it, then you sure couldn't be it within the environment that was created out there. But
and singing is more than just being able to do riffs.
All right.
Let's get that straight. A lot of people think now, oh, I can do 10 riffs, or I can do this and that, and that's singing. That's not singing. That's more a vocal exercise. Okay, so, you know, being able to sing the song and bring it across to your audience, you know, sincerely, You know, that's the singing.
And I look at that as the aspect that we were able to express and tell the story.
Mhm.
So as again, we're going to continue with a series of looking at the effects of music and the music culture into our community, how it inspired us, how it lifted us, and how it helped us to live a better life based on some of the principles and some of the things that we were able to grow out of our musical experience. So stay tuned to Tell My 2013 Story as we again explore our music culture within the community here in the city of Detroit that is known for Motown, but it was more than Motown.
It was.
Yeah, this was
It was.
a town that knew music.